Hi everybody, welcome to Andrew Ainsworth Golf Academy. For those of you who haven't tuned in before, a little bit of background on who I am and what I do. I'm a PGA professional. I've been a PGA Pro now for a long time, 22, 23 years, I've lost track, it's been that long. I kind of broke away from the traditional role of Club Pro 8 years ago and set up my own golf academy here in Tring in Hertfordshire, England. And I have a deep passion for teaching. Love teaching, and I also do lots of club fitting for Ping and Mizuno. So that's who I am. The aim of this series of videos is to really introduce people to golf. So it's really aimed at people who've maybe never played before, or have maybe had a go in the past and want to come back and have another go. And I guess there will be areas of what I talk about where established golfers can even dip in and dip out. You know, they can look at certain positions and really help them get a better understanding of their golf swing. Now, I know on YouTube and out there, there's 101,000 ways of learning to play golf, and I'm not saying that my method is better than anybody else's. I just want to share with you my knowledge, my understanding, my feelings on how to play golf. I guess one thing I've learned over the years of teaching, I think the more you teach, the simpler you teach it. I think when you first qualify as an assistant, I know I did, I'm not saying everyone's done this, but you tend to try and throw so much information at the customer that they walk out after the lesson absolutely bamboozled with so many swing thoughts and ideas. So my ethos, my way of teaching the golf swing is let's keep it simple. I think we tend to learn a lot more by feel rather than thoughts. That's my interpretation, is that most people can feel it but they can't think about it. And if we think about a golf swing, you know, it takes less than a second from start to finish. What can you think about in a second? And if you can think about something, what can you do to influence that thought? So a lot of the stuff I'm going to be showing you in these future lessons are drills, exercises which create muscle memory. Let's just talk generally, first of all, about the golf swing. Let's forget the golf club, let's forget the grip, let's forget all the mechanical things. Let's look at which bits of the body really power the golf swing. Are you suitable? Are you fit? Are you ready to play golf? You know, are your muscles ready to play golf? People don't think of golf as an athletic movement, but it definitely is. And for me, the most important group of muscles that we need to check first of all are these things. We used to just call them your hips. We'll still call them your hips, but let's call it your core. Okay. So the golf swing for me is all about rotation. It's all about the way in which our body rotates back and through. Now, if you can stand there, here's a little test to see how your body feels. Just stand there, feet apart, shoulder width-ish, hands on your hips, stand up tall, look at the camera. I'm looking at the camera, I'm looking at you. So just keep facing forward. Now, what I want to do is you to pick something dead ahead of you and fix your eyes on it for this first part of what we're going to call the backswing. Okay? So I'm going to keep looking at you, and what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and rotate my hips. I'm going to try and rotate my right hip back and behind me. So what you can see here is that the whole of my upper body now starts to rotate. You can see how I'm turning my back away. This is the basic movement which we're going to try and get in the golf swing. So if you can do this movement, your hips are roughly going to turn through about 45 degrees. Now, if you're doing that and it feels painful, then stop straight away. Stop doing it. If you get to there and you think, oh, blimey, something in my back's hurting, don't do it. Go and get some medical advice. Go and see somebody who deals with backs, or maybe a physio or a doctor. I don't know. I'm not a health expert, but just don't do it. We don't want this to cause any injury, do we? So if we can do this, okay, we'll call that the backswing, just to keep it simple. So if I was to then rotate my core in the opposite direction, so basically get my left hip to turn, so I've got my right hip turning behind me, and now I've got my left hip turning behind me. This movement here is the basis, this is the bread and butter for our golf swing. So I'm just going to put a club in my hand. We're not going to talk about the hold, the grip, the posture, anything that complicated at the moment, and you guys don't need to do this at the moment. This is just to show you how that movement translates into the golf swing. So I'm just going to try and turn my right hip back and behind me. There's my backswing, the weight's loading across onto my right side, and now I'm going to turn my left hip back and behind me, and there's my downswing. So if you want a very simplistic view on how to swing a golf club, what's the engine, where's the power come from, these things. So do that little test, do that test of just turning back to target, chest to target. Some people like the idea of somebody's got hold of the right hip pocket and somebody's pulling that right hip pocket back and behind you, then they get the left hip pocket and they turn back and behind you. Give that a go, see how the body feels about that, see if it feels comfortable and there's no dramas there, then I think we're ready to go. If there are some issues, then maybe go and speak to a health professional and see, what's causing this lack of movement, the stiffness, the tightness, because let's say you can't do that move. Let's say you've got very limited movement in the core. We can still swing a golf club. So we're not saying if you can't do that, you can't play golf. Of course you can. There are many ways to swing a golf club. But this is the way I'd just like to start off. So there's the first part of a little introduction to golf. Have a little go at those drills, those little exercises, these little turning exercises. I'll be back shortly and we'll talk a little bit about setup. Okay, so stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, and then what you'll do is you'll get the automatic notification of when I've posted a new video, and then we can all learn this wonderful game and enjoy it. So thanks very much for watching. Come on back and watch some more.